The law in the Old Testament was not given to Jews. A very common doctrine that we are taught in Christianity is that the Old Testament was for the Jews. The feasts were for the Jews, the Sabbath was for the Jews, the dietary laws were for the Jews. The instructions of God were for the Jew, to set them apart. You do not see the word Jew used until the destruction of the temple, 900 years after the law was given at the base of Mount Sinai. Who was at Mount Sinai? All the house of Israel who are not Jews. Two separate identities there. Two separate identities. Jew is not mentioned until rebellion and they're about to be sent to exile into Babylon. And it was used as a term for those who are from the land of Judea, about to be exiled from Judea. It had nothing to do with what we know today as being a Jew. That came later as traditions and separate theologies came up, separate philosophies from the actual law of God came, and it formed the religion of Judaism. We are often taught in the Christian church that we need to separate some stuff. Some stuff's good, some stuff's fine, but a lot of the Old Testament from the New Testament Christian church, that is absolutely unbiblical, completely unbiblical. First century church was built on the entirety of the Old Testament. The Old Testament was not for Jews. It was for believers in the God of Israel. It was for believers in the Creator. It was for believers in Yahweh Almighty, looking for His Son, the Messiah that was to come. It was not written for Jews. It was written for all of those who strive with God and the mixed multitude who join themselves to them. When Yahweh gave the law, He said there's one law for the native born and the stranger among you. It was not for the Jews. That's not there. That has been a made-up doctrine along the way that has tried to separate Christianity from anything that looked like biblical, what they think is Judaism, but it's not. Judaism made up their own rules for how they were going to keep the commandments of God, which is what Jesus rebuked His entire ministry. The whole Bible is for Christians. It is for believers to believe in the whole thing. It just is.